Keeping your business healthy in today's marketplace can be a challenging and overwhelming task. From the threat of litigation inside and outside your organization and the inefficiencies that can rob your bottom line as a result of unproven marketing programs, the deck can be stacked against you. To get ahead of these challenges and stay ahead of your competition, the Bottled Business Sense Show provides practical business solutions that uniquely emphasize key legal principles, management techniques, and marketing strategies to protect and ensure the longevity of your business. You'll learn how to implement marketing and protection principles equal to those used by today's most successful corporations. Join your host, Bill Bernard, Rick Moscoso, and Steve Smith for some high-energy discussion that will inspire you to take control of your business so it can prosper in today's consistently challenging business environment.
Good morning, everyone. This is Rick Moscoso with the Bottled Business Sense Show. Today is Tuesday, and it is 10 a.m. As usual, every Tuesday here on the Bottled Business Sense Show. We are a simulcast show that offers up free advice in regards to marketing tips, best practices, as well as legal tips and best practices to help you protect your business, run it efficiently, and be profitable, most of all. And, Bill and I have been on the air for just about 2 years now, offering up all kinds of ideas, tips, discussion in regards to legal and marketing topics. And, for those of you that are first-time viewers out there, welcome. We hope that you find this useful information. We love doing this for our entrepreneurs and business owners out there because, we have a passion for it. And we're immersed in a lot of the discussion that we talk about here on the show. So you can find us on LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook and Twitter at Bottled Business Sense Show. You can also go to our website at bottledbusinesssenseshow.com and take a look at our archives. We have a whole host of previous episodes in regards to business and legal topics for your business. So we hope you do that. We hope you find that useful, and reach out to us if you'd like to hear some future topics. Yes. On the show. So you can always do that at bottlebusinesssenseshow@gmail.com. So with that, I want to bring on my co-host, Mr. Bill Bernard. He is our legal expert there on the other side. Welcome, Bill. How are you doing this morning?
Just fine, Rick. Good morning. Good to be back for another Tuesday morning show. That introduction you just gave was right to the point. It was excellent in my view. It really gave a great synopsis as to what we try to do here for everyone. And we emphasize this is free advice, and we want you to realize it pertains to a generality of circumstances. Anything that would be particular to your business would have to be gone into with more specifics, and whether it be from a marketing or a legal standpoint. And with that, we try to bring you a wide variety of diverse business topics that you can use from a practical standpoint. I think, as Rick was indicating, we really emphasize the practical aspect of this show. And the whole thought behind it was business in a bottle, where your business is protected just like a ship is inside the bottle, and it moves along at sometimes at a slow pace, sometimes at a more rapid pace. But the goal is, Rick, right, to make sure it goes at a prosperous pace.
That's right. That's right.
Whatever the circumstances. And so today, I thought we would talk about a topic that is probably not so near and dear to all of our business owners' hearts, but is a harsh reality of working a business on an everyday basis. And that is, how do you make collection calls to clients who don't pay in a timely fashion, or who may be problem clients? And I would venture to say that we could bet a lot of money and win by saying that most, if not all, of our business owners have this issue from time to time.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is, like you said, this is an uncomfortable topic to be discussing because, for the most of the viewers out there as business owners, we hope that you're not on. We hope that your clients are paying on time. We know that they don't, but frequently we have found ourselves somewhere in life on the receiving end of this. And not all of us are angels out there and perfect, and sometimes we're late, whether it's on purpose or not. Hopefully it was not on purpose, but this is going to be an interesting topic, because now we're on the giving side of the phone, and there is a certain process that you have to consider, right, when you're doing this.
And you got to remember, there's kind of these people fit into kind of two categories. One who are having problems paying because maybe they need help in their business, or the ones that just don't operate on your schedule. In other words, they get a bill in the mail or over the internet or however you send it, and they're going to do what they're going to do in their own good time. So you have people that are in a tough situation, and you have people that just basically say, without telling you directly, gee, you know what? You'll get your money when you get it. It's not that I don't have it. It's just that you'll get it when you get it. So the key here, the common thread that runs through this show is you must develop skills on how to collect money from potential problem clients, and you must anticipate every case scenario that they come up with and might use as an excuse. So, and how do you do that? Well, you do that first of all by through experience, but you gotta at the very least, because sometimes we're our own worst enemies, as I said before. We put this off, so we get some clients that are paying us late, right? And we keep putting it off too, because we don't want to face it. We don't want to deal with it. Well, now you're now you're your own worst enemy in conjunction with what the client's doing. So you have to set time aside on a regular day of the week, each week, or once a month, or bi-monthly, whatever you choose, to sit down and make these calls. You got to do that. That's the first thing you got to do. You got to schedule the time, because things are not worth the paper they're written on if you don't follow them, Rick. But you got to set that time aside and do that. To make plans to do that. That's got to be part of your everyday running of your business, or your weekly or monthly running of your business, however you choose to break it up.
Yeah, just like your daily marketing is scheduled at certain intervals, and your business operations and your meetings are done on certain intervals. This has to be folded into it as well.
It has to be, and you got to remember that you need to remain in control of these calls. And in order to do that, one of the things you have to do is have all of the account information on hand in front of you. Is this a recurring problem that happens every month? Is it something that's only happened recently? Depending on the nature of your relationship with the client, you may be able to get more information out of the client than you would out of others. If you call your client and you sit down and you're going to make these calls, remember, one of the cardinal rules is never leave a message, if you get a message machine, that the call is about the payment of a bill. Just say you need to discuss something with the client, get him to call you back. Now, again, depending on the level of the client and the problem level of the client, this client may know why you're calling, right? Who knows? But the point is, you don't have to exacerbate it by saying, hey, this is a call about a bill that you owe me. This is not something that you want to leave a message about. But then, assuming once you get a hold of this person, what's the first thing that you think you might want to do? You might want to say, hey, we sent out our invoices last month. We noticed that it hasn't been taken care of. Do you have a problem with the bill? Because remember, sometimes clients will have a problem and they'll be a little apprehensive and challenging or facing you about a potential charge. So you want to get that out of the way by asking them directly, is there any problem with the bill? Because then you'll be able to distinguish by asking that question whether there's a legitimate problem with the bill, or whether there is an outside problem that has nothing to do with the bill as a reason for them not paying. Well, no, gee, I got waylaid this month. I just got backlogged. I was doing inventory, or I was traveling, or whatever. Now you've gotten a valuable piece of information out of them. You realize that they don't have a problem with your bill per se, but that it's an extraneous reason that could simply be something about their refusal to face responsibility. It could be something. It could be that they're making up an excuse. But by asking that question, you're challenging them to give you an answer in one direction or the other.
Yeah, and typically, if it's if that's the case, and there's a truly legitimate reason why they haven't gotten to it, maybe they forgot, and life happens and got in the way. This is a good professional way to find out what that issue is and find out how to remedy it.
Sure. So, this is something that, again, you have to practice at. And so I think even at this early stage of the show, let's do a brief recap. Sit down and schedule a time that you're going to make these calls, have all of the account information on hand, and get the client to acknowledge what the problem is. Either it's the bill itself, or it's an extraneous problem as to why they're not paying. And that extraneous problem could be something from being totally lazy to having a family emergency, or to having some sort of an issue with the business itself. Mm-hmm. So right there, those three things right there lay a great foundation for you to be able to make these calls. Why do I say that? Because when these calls are made, they have to be made with confidence. There can't be any hem-hawing around. You have to be in charge, and you have to show confidence on the phone. And believe me, people can pick up on that verbal confidence. It doesn't mean you have to be nasty or rude, but you have to be confident. How do you show your confidence? By asking the right questions, and by having the information in front of you, and by being prepared. Because once you make that schedule out that you're going to make these calls every month or bi-monthly or every week or whatever it is, you'll be surprised how quickly you will develop the confidence and the wherewithal to be able to make these calls without the stress that might be associated with it the first time you do it.
So let me fold this thought in there as well, and get your comments. So I do my billing. It's 30 days late. I have not called them, and nor have I sent out a follow-up invoice or invoice reminder. How? Mm-hmm. Where does that fit in? Prior to the discussion or prior to the process of calling them.
Well, here's what I typically do. I make a choice. Depending on the nature of the client and the experiences I've had with them in the past, if I know a client is typically a little bit late, but always pays, there's never a problem with the bill, this particular client just works off maybe a 45-day turnaround instead of a 30-day, then I'll just maybe shoot them a quick email with a copy of the invoice and as a reminder, because I know that client really doesn't have a problem. This is just something typical of the way he does business, he or she. If it's more of a problem client, then chances are in the past you've already tried that option and it hasn't worked. That's how you know they're not one of those clients that are going to pay eventually 15 or 10 days late, but rather they're going to pay when they want to pay, or whenever their clients pay them, or whatever the reason may be. At that point, I pick up the phone. That's how I do it personally. And I must be candid, I don't have a whole lot of issues in this area that are problems for me. I have one or two clients that probably fit into the first category, where I'll just resend them a bill. And typically when I do that, I get an immediate response back within 48 hours saying something to the effect of, oh, Bill, I'll take care of that. Thanks for reminding me. No problem. Mm-hmm. It's where you have the real problem clients that you got to make the phone call, because you recognize that either a letter has been tried before, or a rebilling has been tried before and didn't work, or you just know this client, you could send them 50 emails a day and it's not going to work. You're going to have to make personal contact with them. Right.
Well, here's an interesting thought. With today's technology and email capabilities, software even as simple as QuickBooks, right? will drop a cookie in the email. And basically what that is it will notify you as the sender when that person actually opened the email. So you know that it's getting through. You know they saw the email.
No, that's an excellent idea. It's an excellent idea. Although, Rick, and you might know this more than I, my understanding is, because my brother has this on his email. He's an accountant. He sends me things, and he'll ask me to respond. Well, my understanding is you could say no. You don't have to say that you've opened the envelope, right? It's not required, to my understanding. So a person could always just say no.
No, you can see it can be just in the form of a simple email that comes from something like QuickBooks, that it's an invoice. As soon as they open it up to read, then it sends the sender a notification that the email's been open, right? Okay,
I got you. It's an automatic thing. Well, in that case, yeah, I would urge you to talk to whoever's manufactured or who processed or who made the billing program you're using. And if that's something that can be done, yeah, that's great, because then you can document the file. Because as part of the client file, files are, in my file, for example, as an attorney, I've got pleadings, I've got correspondence, I've got research, I've got billing. So in that billing portion, you make a note. You send email on such and such a date, no response. Or in the scenario you just provided, Rick, you indicate when the billing program sent it out, knowing that an automatic reply was coming as to acknowledging the receipt of the email, and then mark the date and the time that email was received in the billing file. Yeah.
That just makes it easier to track. So
sure, absolutely. If that's available to you, I would use it. Yeah. But now you got the guy on the phone, right, or the gal on the phone, and now, if there's an issue, say, hey, I'll take your credit card over the phone. If you have that availability to you, say, I'll take a credit card over the phone. If that can't be done, then you ask them directly, when can I anticipate payment? And then you shut up and you wait for an answer.
Yeah.
You don't hem-haw around, because now you're not in control anymore. Now you're not showing confidence. You're kind of soft soaping the question. So when do you think you can pay, Joe? I understand you're having some issues. No, when do you think you can pay, Joe? And then wait for an answer. And let them know. Let them know that you're documenting the file. Let them know, well, Joe, going through your file, this has happened consecutively for the last 4 billing periods. I'm always willing to work with you, but I've got to have a date certain that you will provide payment. And I'm documenting that in your file, so there's no misunderstanding between us in the future. And then you might say something like, if he or she still has a problem, well, how about half of the payment? Can you send me half now and half in 14 days? Well, I get paid on, I haven't gotten paid yet, so I don't have the money. Well, when do you get paid, Joe? Do you get paid on the Fridays, the 14th and the 30th of the month, or how does it work? Pin them down, but do it in a respectful way.
Yeah, I think the whole goal here is to get some kind of commitment. If you can't get the whole thing, at least get most of it, or or half of it, or whatever it is that you're comfortable with, right?
Right, but how do you get that commitment, Rick? You get the commitment by asking specific questions. Okay, you speak with precision and make them respond to questions without. Let me give you a good example. In a deposition procedure, I often tell clients, answer the question. A good example. Now, this gets very intricate in the deposition procedure, but let me give you a simple example. Did you drive your car here today? Well, the answer would be yes. Not yes, I drove a blue Chevy. Okay? I didn't ask you for the color of the car or the kind of the car. I asked you if you drove your car here today. So when you get specific, when you ask specific questions, without soft soaping it, without laying on these layers of, well, gee, I feel sorry for you, then you're going to get more specific answers because you put them on the spot. And if they give you some roundabout answer, you've got to pick out the specifics of whatever they give you as an answer. I haven't gotten paid yet. Well, when do you get paid? Well, I get paid on the 14th, but I've got these other bills I got to pay. Well, can you send me half, Joe? I'll work with you. Can you send me half on the 14th or 15th? Send me the other half on the 30th. Because I got to get this bill paid. I've got to get it paid. Or as you see on the bottom of my bill, there's going to be a 1% interest charge for each 30 days that it's late. And I really don't want to charge you interest, but this is in our contractual agreement, and I want to help you get out of this mess, but you're going to have to be, you're going to have to be more specific as to when you're going to be able to help me out here. Be positive, confident, and compel the individual to commit to a response. And once you get that response, you then do what? You send a confirming letter. Send a confirming letter. Even if it's just an email. Hey, Joe or Mary, I spoke to you on June 15th, 2016. At that time, you indicated you would send me one half of the payment in the amount of $50 by June 30th. The receipt, the balance of which consists of blank amount, I will receive no later than July 15th. Whatever the case may be. Because you have to remember that people you're trying to get money out of will use every excuse they can think of to avoid paying. Why? I'm not saying that in general, that people are like that in general. I'm saying about your problem clients, because chances are you're never going to make a call like this with somebody who's done this once or twice and who's been consistently paying all the way. You're going to do this with problem clients. Collection calls are not made. Another good example, when people are referred to a collection agency, most businesses try to work with them for a period of time before they refer it to a collection agency. Why do they refer it to a collection agency? Because the person consistently continues not to pay. So those types of clients are what we're talking about here. If you have those kinds, and hopefully you have as few as possible, but if you do have them, those are the kind of people you're going to deal with in the manner that we're discussing here today. So one of the important things I want to emphasize is, since you're on the phone and you can't have eye contact, your greeting is going to make a huge difference, right? People often make a judgment about you within the first couple of seconds of the interaction. It's not what you say in that short period of time, but how you present yourself. Are you going to have a dull monotone, an apologetic kind of a tone, and speak with little confidence, or are you going to have a firm but polite tone? One of the ways you have a firm but polite tone is, believe it or not, Rick, smile on the phone. When you're talking to somebody on the phone, you're quite different when you're smiling, right, than when you're angry. You
absolutely.
Yeah. So if you force yourself, if you have to smile and say, hey, I'm here to help, but I need an answer.
Yeah.
I'll work with you.
Sure, something simple like that. You can hear that in someone's voice, and it puts you in you as the caller in a better mindset to deal with a sensitive situation like this. So you do come off positive.
And sit up straight in your chair. Sit up straight in your chair. Use good posture. Pretend that client is sitting right across from you, across your desk in a chair. Mm-hmm. All of these little things project the psychological aspect of this and how you're going to be perceived by the person who owes you the money.
Right. I mean, this is a great tip, because think about it. If you're not sold on this concept, because think about it, when you take a phone call on your phone and you're laying in bed, the receiving person usually knows that you're laying in bed because of the way you sound, right?
So how many times have you gotten a phone call, Rick, where somebody says, "Hey, did I just wake you up?"
Right.
Don't they sense it, right? They know it.
Yeah.
And chances are you have just woken up not too long ago, but you don't want them to know that you're going to work at 10 o'clock. He's, oh no, I've been up for hours. All of a sudden now when you say that, you can feel that rise in your voice because you're commanding yourself now to act in conjunction with what you thought, how you thought your day was going to begin. You were going to be up early and you were going to be ready to go. Yeah. So listen, people sense that. And because people don't pay bills on a regular basis, doesn't mean they're stupid. They can pick up on this stuff. So one of the things I wanted to do to kind of at the tail end of the show here to discuss briefly is what happens when you get the emotional guy who's angry, embarrassed, sad, frustrated, may even cry or swear or yell on the phone. My goodness. Why you need to recognize you're sitting up straight with great posture and you're still smiling. But now you're recognizing, you're reading between the lines whether this is a problem that exists because he's embarrassed and defensive because you're making the call, or is he embarrassed and defensive because there's another problem going on in his life, whether it be a personal problem or a problem in his business. The point is you don't care. And I don't mean that in a negative, I don't give a damn kind of a way. I mean, you don't care for the purposes of getting your objective completed, which is getting payment. You need to continue to smile, to continue to sit up straight, and to continue to keep a low but firm tone to your voice. When he gets emotional, you need to show that person that you're going to maintain your cool, but you're going to be firm. Just like you would.
Yeah, because the moment you become empathetic to whatever the excuse is, the emotional excuse is, that receiving person's gonna see that as an opportunity to put this thing off, right?
Yeah, that is a great point. So let's talk about that. Well, gee, Joe, I'm sorry that you're having problems with your wife, or I'm sorry that, you lost all this product in transit. And, Joe, sorry that you lost this product in transit. That's a heck of a thing to have happen. But you know what? I'm willing to work with you. Let's extend the payment out for 15 days. Can you guarantee me that by the 15th of the month, you'll have a check in the mail? Or alternatively, can you give me half on a credit card now, Joe? I'll work with you, put it on the credit card, and the other half that Joe will extend out an additional 15 days. Maybe that'll help you. Will that help you? That way you're saying you're not apologizing for what happened to him because his product got damaged in transit or didn't get in on time or whatever the case may be. You're not saying I'm sorry for that because it's my fault. You're saying, hey, I'll work with you because I know that you know what happens, right? Mm-hmm. It happens. Things happen and you understand that and you're willing to work with him. You're not willing to give him a free pass. You're willing to work with him or her.
Right. And that sounds much better. I mean, it's you sound professionally empathetic. But yet, we have to come to an agreement on what you owe me, right?
Right. Well, there's another great point. What did you just say, and what did I offer in my example? As opposed to offering sympathy, I offered him a solution.
Right.
I offered him a solution to his problem. Now, Joe or Mary, you don't have to worry about all this other stuff you got going on with your product. Your bill is one less thing you have to worry about because I'm willing to work with you on it. I'm willing to extend it, or I'm willing to get half now and half later, whatever the case may be, as long as you make a commitment to me that I'm going to have that partnership with you. You're going to make it happen. And by the way, Joe or Mary, I'm going to confirm that in a letter or an email when we get off the phone. Okay? So
what do you recommend? So you have somebody who's an emotional wreck on the other side, and no matter what option that you serve up to them to try and help them out with payment, either they're combative or in denial or whatever the situation is, and you can't get a firm commitment from them, then what do you do?
Well, then you're going to have to recount past history. That's why you have that folder. Remember I said at the top of the show, you have that information in front of you before you make the call. Well, Joe, this has happened on a consistent basis now over the last 4 to 6 months. And candidly, as you know, and I know you'd agree with me, Joe, that I can't run a business like that. You couldn't run the business if your clients didn't pay you. So consequently, I'm going to need payment in the amount of X amount of dollars by no later than blank date, whatever it is, or I'm going to have to. You're going to have to make arrangements to have somebody else be your attorney, and I'll do what I have to do in any necessary follow up to collect my money. And you don't need to say, I'm going to file a small claims action against you, or I'm going to file a lawsuit, or I'm going to turn you over to a credit collection agency. They know what that is. If they ask you that, which I doubt they would, then you'd be honest with them and say, that's certainly one of the possibilities. But I'm going to do what I got to do to get this bill paid. So it's an interesting topic, again, one that a lot of people don't like to deal with. But look, Rick, this whole show is premised on the fact that you're in the business to make money. And you can't make money if you've got clients who aren't paying you. So this has to be something that you practice at. And remember that it all starts up here. Your attitude is everything. You need to go into this looking like, hey, I don't need to be nasty to somebody, but I didn't create this problem. The other person did. I'm owed this money. The health of my business is at stake, and I can't make an exception for this person unless that person provides me with what? An alternative solution to the one that I'm providing them on the phone. So Joe, in the scenario we've been talking about, all of a sudden says, Bill, I can't get you the money by the 15th, but I'll tell you what, I can get you the whole amount, the balance, by July 30th. Would that be something you could do for me? Sure, Joe, I can work with you like that. Let's make sure we get it done by the 30th, and then any ongoing bills are paid in a timely fashion after that. Right. Now he's going to be more receptive to saying, yeah, okay, bills will be timely made after that because you're working with him to give him to July 30th, right? And you document that in the file, you send him a confirming email or confirming letter, and you're good to go. So, hopefully this has been somewhat helpful and has made an unpleasant task a little more manageable for our entrepreneurs and business people out there, because it happens in every single business, from the largest law firms in the world all the way down to the smallest solopreneur. Believe me when I tell you.
Well, this has been a great topic. It's a little bit different than we've done in the past. This certainly isn't our expert or our area of expertise, but it is something that we've had to develop over time in dealing with these situations. And there's valuable information that Bill that we talked about today, and hopefully this has helped you. Not sure if you're offering coaching on this, Bill, or not, but I don't think so.
Well, it's interesting. Many of what I did much of what my prior education prior to going to law school was in psychology. I actually was going to become a psychiatrist, and I will never forget when I was looking into graduate school. Not that you have to be a psychiatrist, by the way, to do this. A lot of this is common sense and perseverance and confidence and so forth. But I remember when I was going to opt out to go to graduate school for psychology, and the counselor said to me, well, you have to undergo 4 years of psychotherapy. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, you can't psychoanalyze somebody else if you don't have it done yourself. And I said, well, then let's skip it, because I don't want to know what's going on up there. I'll just move forward. So what I did before I went to law school, I went into sales for 5 years and used the psychology in the sales arena. But it's funny how life leads you down different roads. But, this is made part of a entrepreneur's business acumen for a reason. You don't need a psychology degree to do this. You just need to get over your own fears and inhibitions about collecting what's rightfully due you. Can you believe that people actually feel inhibited about pursuing a means of collection, even though that money is rightfully due them? They're not ripping anybody off. They're owed that money, but still they feel somewhat apprehensive.
Yeah. Well, this has been a great episode, folks. Bill, on behalf of Bill and myself, we hope this has been useful for you. We are certainly open to more topics like this that you may have, and you can always drop them in an email to us at bottlebusinessshow@gmail.com. We are always looking for feedback from our viewership out there on new topics, information that you want us to talk about, and we're very open to hearing back from you. So please drop us a line and let us know what you think.
Sounds good. I wish everyone a prosperous week as always. I hope, again, as Rick said, the information's been helpful. And we're on simulcast every week, and you can find us at LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and bottlebusinessshow.com, and just Google Bottle Business Sense Show, and a whole array of sites will come up. And I'll look forward to being with you here again next week, Rick, for another topic.
All right. We'll see you next week, Bill. Everyone have a great and prosperous week. We'll see you again on the next episode of the Bottle Business Sense Show. Take care.